How do I manage my chronic fatigue as a human who happens to be a therapist? Let's talk about it. The biggest shift in managing my chronic fatigue has been honoring my limitations. And this is something that's really been a challenge for me because there's a lot of emotion wrapped up in honoring your limitations. There's a lot of stories about well, why me? Why can other people do this and I can't? Why can other people see 30 clients a week and still have a social life? Or see even 25 or 20 people a week and still have a social life and still be energized and be able to have conversations when they get home? How are people doing all of this? Why is it so hard for me? So I think there's a lot of anger, grief, despair wrapped up in this process of honoring limitations. But ultimately, the more I honor my limitations and I honor what my body needs, the less burnt out I am. So for example, these last couple of weeks, my chronic fatigue has really been flaring up and I have been wildly exhausted. And all I've really been able to do is get ready for work, go to work, come home, lay in bed. And the way that I'm honoring my limitations is not shaming and blaming myself for that. Instead, I'm just noticing that my body needs more rest and I'm allowing it to rest. And I'm being compassionate with myself when I have to do that. Another thing that I have done to honor my limitations is I put my wait list back up on my therapy website because I'm noticing hey, I'm seeing 18, 19, 20 people a week and I am exhausted. Anything more than that is going to be too much. Another way that I've been honoring my limitations is not forcing myself to do things that I typically do when I have more access to energy. So for example, I'm somebody who typically is pretty active and likes to work out at least 3 to 4 days out of the week. For the last 2 weeks, I have only ran once a week and it's been on the weekends where I don't have to worry about going to work or having the emotional, mental, physical capacity to show up and be effective. Something I'm experimenting with is telling myself that I should be exhausted right now. Based on my capacity and everything that I am doing, I should be exhausted. This makes sense. That's something we would tell somebody who is doing all of the things that fit within the social norm and they feel tired. We would tell them yeah, that makes sense. You should feel tired. You're doing a lot. My capacity is just a little bit less. Some days are definitely harder than others. And like I said, there is a lot of grief that comes up with this because when you have chronic health issues, there is a loss of time, energy, experiences, opportunities, things that you don't see on the outside if you're not the person who's experiencing the chronic health issues, but things that we miss, things that we don't get to have access to that we could if we were otherwise healthier. And that really sucks. And at the same time, the more I honor my limitations, the more I honor what my body needs, the more I am disrupting the burnout cycle.